step or two in terms of the RAM performance. Obviously, I've done a full in-depth look at the browser, so I'll just show you this part now. So I'm just going to go to, what I'll do is, for those people complaining that flash is not turned on as standard and that's what's holding the phone down, because believe it or not, I've had a lot of those saying, oh, you've not enabled the flash straight away, that's why it's all laggy. So we'll put it always on, so just to make it fair. And now we'll go back to Engadget, which I've made sure goes to the default to the main website. So this is roughly how fast it's going to be to render on the phone when you first get it. As you can see, we've got a little timer, and there we go, the flash is now fully loaded. So the page is fully loaded, flash is fully enabled. So now we'll do a flick test. As you can see, still a bit jaggeder. It's just not silky smooth like it should be. To compare the specs up to the Galaxy S2, which is inevitable, it's going to happen, and I will be doing a comparison. It's just not, it just doesn't match it. Personally, I don't think this rivals the iPhone 4. I'm not an iPhone fan myself in terms of as a phone, but as a web browsing, piece of equipment, it is probably one of the best out there, if not the best. The only one that comes close to the iPhone 4, or vice versa, is the Galaxy S2. And those two, they're streets ahead in terms of this one at the moment. Hopefully HTC can upgrade the software to give it a better browsing experience. For now, I'm a little disappointed, but each to their own. Some people say, oh, they like it because, they like when you do the pinch to zoom, the text free flow. I do like that, but I'd prefer it to be smooth, not just... I want it to be perfect. So, again, that's my personal preference, but that's the whole point of doing this review, is to show you more what I feel about the phone. So, the next thing we're going to go into is the camera. What do I think about the camera? As a camera, as taking pictures in 8 megapixel, it's poor. Extremely poor, to be fair. And that has been fair. Now, I owned a Desire and a Desire S, which only had a 5 megapixel sensor in them. And those pictures seem to be the same as this. Just obviously the resolution, this is meant to be a bit better. The actual pictures themselves, they are pretty damn poor. Whereas call quality gets 10 out of 10. The picture quality, 3, maybe 4 out of 10 if it's lucky. Yeah, the actual camera itself, the imaging on it, I know it's not one of HTC's strong point, but come on, I would expect it to be, the new latest and greatest, for it to, at least be a lot better than the old Desire and the Desire S were. Again, it's all down to personal preference. I think that it's not very sharp. The colours are a bit off. But again, that's my personal opinion. Now, video performance is a different matter. I'm quietly impressed with the 1080p and also 720. I will be putting some comparisons up with this video, so you can see what it looks like at 720 and 1080. Now, I'm going to be shooting those in daylight, so it will give you a good representation of what it's going to be like. And for those asking, I will be doing another Galaxy video, Galaxy S2, at 1080 and 720 in daylight. I'm going to do it side by side with this, so it's got a representation of what it's going to be like. So, last but not least, actually there's two things, sorry. The last one that I was going to say was going to be the battery, but I'll just go up on the actual speakerphone performance first of all. Obviously I've got a speakerphone in the back there. Now overall, the speaker is a bit tinny. It's better than my Desire was, but that couldn't be a lot hard to beat because it was extremely poor. It is better than that, but it's still pretty, it's not up to par to what this phone should be. Again, it is meant to be the flagship phone. It doesn't live up to that name of being a flagship phone personally. But, some people are going to like it, some people aren't. I personally would rate the actual overall, let's say the speakerphone. So as a phone, probably about 6, it's decent in speakerphone, but when you play music on loudspeaker, you're definitely looking at maybe like a 4 or a 5 maximum. So that's kind of disappointing. Now, now the last thing is the battery performance. What do I think of the battery? A lot of people have been saying the Galaxy S2, they're not getting a very good battery on it. You know, some people saying, oh, they're getting what I get. I normally get good battery out of a Galaxy S2. And I don't know why some people are having problems, some people aren't. With this one, unfortunately, I've been having pretty bad battery. I tried to shoot this video earlier today, and unfortunately the Senation. I tried to shoot this video earlier, but unfortunately the Senation actually died on me. So I've had to reshoot this from start because it completely died and I couldn't get it to turn back on, which was a bit disappointing. So battery performance, I left it off charge last night. It was fully charged about 6:30 at night. Woke up this morning and it was literally where it is now. I have charged it, I've had to charge it to this video. So it was at about 25-30%. And that's why I wasn't even using it a lot. You know, I used it now and again throughout the night, got a couple of tweets. I am I'm syncing Twitter. I'm also syncing 2 email accounts on the phone. But even, you know, with the phone not being used a lot, you know, it seemed to kind of drastically go down. In the first day I got the phone, it did come with not a lot of charge, so I fully charged it up, and I did get the full day out of it. You know, I got a good solid 14 hours out of it, and that was with, you know, pretty decent heavy usage. I am a pretty heavy user of the phones, but it's the battery itself, it's not that impressive. If you're a heavy user, you're probably going to get about 14-15 hours out of it, which some people will be happy with. You know, personally, I'm okay with that, but a lot of people want, you know, at least a day out of a phone. So if you're a heavy user, then you're probably going to be disappointed. If you're an average user, you're going to get a day out of it, so you'll be happy with that. You know, you're probably going to the next day and have to charge it sometime in that day. If you're a very light user, just taking phone calls now and again, you know, you're probably going to get 2 days out of it max. But that is extremely light. You know, it's a very light user, just a couple of phone calls here or there, not intensive games, etc. So you're looking at about, say, 14 hours as a heavy user, maybe a full day as an average user. Probably we'll say 30 hours as an average user. Again, these are just rough figures as to what I know I would estimate, and probably about 44 hours, 48 hours, I don't know, as a light user. Now the battery itself, it's only 1520, so it's not the biggest battery, but it is a bit of a step up from some of the previous HTC phones. So the overall out of 10 performance, I like the phone. The phone itself, solid, looks great, you know, feels great. Performance wise, a bit, you know, underwhelmed. Now that could be because obviously I've played the Galaxy S2 and I'm using that as a comparison, but I'm underwhelmed about the phone itself. The overall aspect, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10, which is not a bad score, but it has a lot left to be desired. And you know, it's not sensational. The name doesn't ring as to what the actual phone should be. I am a massive HTC fan, believe it or not. I know there's a lot of negativity in this video. There's positivity as well. Again, Sense 3.0, it's nice, it's very slick. The phone, it runs silky smooth in the Sense experience. Step outside Sense, you see a little bit of jagginess there. The screen itself, great. Apart from the viewing angles, they're not the best. As you can see, look at it like that, it looks great. Go like that, not so great. I know some people are saying, yeah, but you can always look at it like that. Well, not always. You can have it at different angles, because you can see there, it seems to go, you know, a little skewy. But overall, 7.5 out of 10. So it's not a bad score, but it has a lot left to be desired, as I say. So I'm going to cut the video off here, because I think I've rambled on a bit too long. And thanks for watching. Keep watching, and I will be doing a head-to-head with this against the Galaxy S2. See you next time.